Your sun sign isn't just your personality, it's your life force. It shows what keeps you alive, what energizes you, and what drains you without you realizing it. When your sun is nourished, you glow. When your sun is depleted, everything feels dim. Now, in the realm of astrology, the sun sign is what people most understand, recognize, and resonate with. And of course, it deals with your personality characteristics and how you express yourself outwardly. However, at its core, the sun represents vitality. So your sun sign not only says a lot about your personality traits, but it also talks about your overall general health and vitality. So, in this video, I will be discussing this in detail so you know exactly how your sun sign makes you feel inside and out. So, if you want to know more, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. So, welcome to day 12 of my 31-day wellness and astrology series. And today we're exploring the sun, not in the way that you're used to, but more so, we're exploring the sun as a wellness planet. So, the sun represents your vitality, your energy source, your immune strength, your physical constitution, your confidence and willpower, and what makes your spirit feel alive. Your sun sign shows the fuel your body and soul run on. If the moon is how you feel and Mercury is how you think, the sun is how you shine. Now, like I said before, your sun sign is what everyone is very familiar with when it comes to astrology. That's sort of everyone's gateway into astrology, as a matter of fact. But what I love about the sun is that it details so much more. And in this video, we're discussing how your sun sign represents the fuel that your body runs on. If the sun represents your vital energy, your sun sign and its characteristics show what you need to maintain that vital energy. And that information is invaluable because invariably we run out of energy or we feel less than ourselves at times, or our lights become a little dimmer, especially with everything going on at the moment. But if you know exactly what you need to refuel, that's more than half the battle. Here's the real issue. Most people try to build energy or restore energy through discipline, routines, supplements, productivity, forcing motivation. But your vitality comes from honoring the conditions your sun sign needs to stay lit. When your sun is unsupported, you feel tired no matter how much you sleep, you feel uninspired, you can feel physically sluggish, you can feel emotionally flat, you can feel disconnected from purpose, or you can feel unable to push through. This isn't laziness, at least not entirely. This is a dimmed sun. And so to get your energy back, you have to feed your light. Now, the concept of a dimmed sun is something that I think that we don't necessarily pay enough attention to. Now, don't get me wrong. Life be lifing a lot, especially lately. And it's not the case that you should be lit and you should be on all the time. There are going to be times where your light needs to be dimmed, either because of what's going on or even to conserve your energy. But what I'm talking about here is more so like a prolonged stint of feeling emotionally flat, tired no matter how much you sleep, like dragging your ass through life. When you have extended periods like that, that is your body's way of calling attention to perhaps a dip in your life force energy, a dip in your vitality. And of course, your sun sign can tell you exactly how to restore that energy. And so speaking of which, let's get into how each sun sign restores vitality. So of course, we begin with the fire sun sign. So this means that you have your sun in either Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. So your life force energy comes from action, excitement, inspiration, and creativity. But the things that typically drain your energy are routine, stagnation, feeling unseen, feeling limited or stifled. And the vitality tip for you is to move your body daily, to create something, engage in the creation process, and take some risks. Now, I want to emphasize taking risks for a second because this is not to say that you should be reckless by any stretch of the imagination, but as a fire sign, you need a little spontaneity. You need a little risk in your life on a regular basis. And risk should be somewhat calculated, not reckless, but that's an important part of your vital energy. And so that's something that you should infuse every so often. Next, we move on to the earth sun signs. So this means that you have your sun in either Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. So your life force energy comes from stability, structure, touch, engaging in the five senses, and achievement and success. What drains your energy is chaos, inconsistency, and perhaps a lack of control. Instability, definitely, and also sometimes even a lack of resources. For you, your vitality tip is to nourish your senses, create order, and or build something tangible. Okay? Earth sun signs need stability in their lives. These are perhaps the people who really feel off and are really viscerally affected, perhaps when they don't have as much money in the bank, or their savings have depleted, or they're in an environment that's completely chaotic and disorderly, or even an environment that is like cluttered or even dirty, right? Like for you, creating order out of chaos is your thing. Hello, I'm speaking to Virgo sun signs. But also building something tangible, working toward something. Setting a goal and taking the action steps and doing the diligent work to achieve it can always restore your life force energy. Next, we move on to the air sun signs. So this means that you have your sun in either Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So your life force energy comes from connection, ideas, conversation, and fresh air. What drains your energy is isolation, emotional heaviness, monotony, or situations that don't allow you to express yourself or even indulge your curiosity. The vitality tip for you is to talk it out, stimulate your mind, or change your scenery. So for you, that ability to be mentally agile is what makes you feel like yourself and restores your vital life force energy. And so for you, indulging in your curiosity, this made me think of what I said before about the fire signs, about how they have to infuse a little bit of risk into their lives on a regular basis. You guys have to allow your curiosity you guys have to indulge your curiosity every so often. Allow yourself to go down the rabbit hole, express yourself, speak. Doing things like that help to restore your vital life force energy. And then finally, we get to the water sun signs. So this is if you have your sun in Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. So your life force energy comes from meaning, emotion, intuition, and spiritual connection. What drains your energy is emotional chaos, superficiality, and harsh environments. And your vitality tip is to rest deeply, create emotional sanctuary, and reconnect with your soul. You guys tend to absorb emotions very easily. And so if there's an emotionally chaotic or even a traumatic situation, that can definitely drain your life force energy. For you guys, energy vampires are your nemesis because they are literally draining your life force energy, which is your emotions. People that are baiting you for an emotional response, superficiality even will just, it doesn't drain you in the same way that like an emotional vampire would, but it just makes you bored and kind of checked out, right? You guys need emotional depth, meaning, a spiritual connection to whatever it is that you're doing. And so being able to reconnect with yourself on an emotional level and creating a sanctuary in your life. It literally could be your bedroom, it could be your car, sometimes it could be the bathroom at work if you're having a particularly trying day. But being able to carve out that space, that time for you to emotionally check back in with yourself is definitely what you need to restore your vital life force energy. So let's briefly talk about why your sun dims, like why your light even dims in the first place. So sun depletion often shows up as a loss of identity, weakened immunity, like weakened physical immunity, chronic fatigue, lack of joy, inconsistent energy, or feeling disconnected from your purpose. One of the energetic signatures of the sun is that it represents your purpose along with your characteristics and your life force energy. And so when you're disconnected from your purpose, that can very much deplete your life force energy because you're either wandering around aimlessly or you just feel disconnected from yourself, from your very essence. When your sun dims when you abandon your needs, you dim yourself for others, you live out of alignment, and you stop doing what makes you feel alive. Your life force weakens when you stop honoring the core of who you are. Living authentically is the crux of your vitality. I'm going to say that again. Living authentically is the crux of your vitality. And oftentimes, yes, life gets busy. And of course, it's not always a dimmed sun that contributes to feeling tired or chronic fatigue. However, what I think most people overlook is the fact that if you are out of alignment continuously, that is a decrease in your sun. That is a dimmed sun. You're in a job for the sake of survival for a prolonged period of time. You think it's normal. And to a certain extent, society has normalized that because society has us in this rat race where many of us are running on fumes because we're in a constant state of survival. But that's not how it's supposed to be. If we lived in a society that was functioning in alignment with universal law, the idea of doing what you love, doing what you're designed to do would be boilerplate. It would be the template, right? People would be fulfilled in what they do. People wouldn't be existing just for the sake of existing. We hear all the time, you're not alive just to work and pay bills, but let's be honest, many of us, that's exactly what we're doing. And then people scoff when it is said that you should do what you love. And people are like, I don't have time for that. I don't have room for that in my life. I have bills to pay. I have kids in college. I've got medical expenses. Yes, life definitely is lifing and requires us to do things that we don't always want to do. I get that. This isn't a message of, throw caution to the wind and just, follow your passions. I understand life is not always like that. However, big however there. Living in alignment with how you're designed is living in alignment with joy. When you do what you're good at, when you do what you're designed to do, it's second nature. There is a certain element of enjoyment. There's a certain element of purpose. And I love the fact that so many people are starting to wake up to this. They're starting to understand that I'm not here just to have a job for the sake of having a job. I'm here to do something. And by purpose, it doesn't mean this big overarching purpose where you're supposed to be a spiritual guru and you're supposed to lead all these people to the promised land. It's not even about that. Your purpose could literally be, I'm here to paint. I'm here to be a writer because that's how I'm designed. And the beauty of it is that your sun sign details all of that. It's not just, okay, I'm a Virgo, I'm perfectionist. My life force energy, it's fueled by structure. It's fueled by routine. It's fueled by stability. Now, it's not the only thing that you look at in terms of purpose. When we're talking about your natal chart, there are other factors that play into what your quote unquote purpose is. But at the very foundation is the sun, right? The sun is the center of our universe, as a matter of fact. And when you understand your sun and you understand your vital energy, I really think that you're one step closer to not only understanding yourself, but understanding how you are to move in this world. So now I want to get into a quick little ritual to help strengthen your life force energy right now, immediately. Especially now that we're at the end of the year. And by the end of the year, we are exhausted. We are perhaps even a little bit anxious because we're thinking about the new year and what we want to do and what we want to change. So strengthening our life force energy at this time seems to be extremely important. So here is a simple vitality ritual. So step number 1, spend 2 minutes in direct or indirect sunlight. Now, I understand this could be difficult depending on where you live. I happen to live in South Florida, so that is something that's readily available. But even if it means standing in front of the window, right? Even if it's too cold outside, even just standing outside, right? Even if it's cloudy. But if you can do this when there is direct sunlight, that would be the best. But remember, even if it's cloudy, the sun is still out. So just go outside for 2 minutes. Put on your biggest coat, get warm, but make sure you get outside if you can, of course, and get in direct or indirect sunlight for 2 minutes. Step number 2, name one thing that makes you feel alive. Now, if you're outside and you're by yourself, you may not want to say this out loud for fear of looking, crazy. But think to yourself, what makes you feel alive? This is a wonderful moment to reconnect with yourself. And naming it gives it awareness, gives it presence. Number 3, do one small action that feeds your sun sign, right? So if you have an air sun sign, let's say, indulging in your curiosity, having a great conversation with someone you haven't talked to in a while. If you're an earth sun sign, maybe it's having a really great meal or even going shopping, right? Examine your sun sign and then do one small action that feeds that sun sign. And then finally, step number 4, ground your breath into your belly. This is the seat of your life force. So in terms of the chakras, when we're talking about life force energy, when we're talking about the sun, we're talking about the solar plexus chakra, which is located in your abdomen. Breathing into your belly. And this just can be a short 5-minute little breathing exercise, but making sure that you breathe into your belly while you're focusing on what you need to feel alive is a great way to reset your life force energy. And of course, ongoing action that's in alignment with your sun sign can also revitalize your energy, so you're not constantly fatigued and you're not constantly burnt out, okay? So vitality isn't built in the mind exclusively. It's restored by reconnecting to the energy you were born with. That's the thing about your sun sign. It's sort of someone had explained it once that it's like the suit that you literally put on the moment that you are born. So it could be a Virgo suit. It could be a Sagittarius suit, right? And that energy is your incarnation into this world. Of course, also your rising sign as well, but your sun sign is the energy that you were born with. And being able to reconnect to that is ultimately how you can strengthen your life force energy, either today or over the long term. One of the things that I want to circle back to real quick is feeling drained and depleted as a result of not having clarity about your purpose, which is very much connected to your sun sign. And I've seen this in natal chart readings in the past where, clients have said, I don't feel like myself, or I don't know what's going on or what I should be doing. And oftentimes that inquiry can be addressed just via your sun sign, and not even just your sun sign, the transits to your sun sign, right? Also, wherever your sun is located in your natal chart, like for instance, if you've got Virgo as your 5th house and your sun is in Virgo, right? So clearly your sun is in Virgo, but your fifth house ruler would be Mercury, which is the ruler of Virgo. Seeing what Mercury is doing in your chart can also help to address that inquiry, as well as transits that are affecting your sun sign or the planetary ruler of your sun sign. Now, if that went over your head, that's fine. I've got plenty of videos that explain exactly what I'm talking about. However, looking at that very sort of limited information in your natal chart and or transits to your natal chart can help you to understand what you're here to do, or perhaps what you should even be doing right now to not only address the issue of your purpose, but to help strengthen your vital life force energy. So it can literally be as something as looking at just those two things to help you understand how you're feeling and how to remedy that feeling almost immediately. And if that's something that you're interested in doing, then you should take advantage of my signature natal chart experience, which is called the Blueprint. It's essentially a natal chart reading and a 30-day transit report. So you get a 60-minute live reading, private online portal with resources, and you get a 30-day alignment map, which is a transit report of the 30 days post reading, so you know exactly what to do and when to do it. And if you're interested, the first step would be to book a free clarity call with me for us to understand whether the service is even right for you. And so if you're interested in that, all of the information is in the description box below. And if you want something a little lighter, right? Definitely take my self-care signature quiz if you haven't already. It helps you understand your self-care archetype so you know exactly what you need. And it's a really fun way to figure that information out. And so if you're interested in that, the link will also be in the description box below. All right, my loves, that's pretty much all I've got for you for this video on the sun and your vital energy. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.